Hello, hello. All right. This is Mike Mills with the Texas Real Estate and Finance Podcast. And today we're going to be talking all things video, video marketing, creating videos, where to post, how to post, the importance of it, and all that kind of stuff, and not getting too wrapped up in whether or not you're becoming an internet superstar. We're just trying to reach our customers, and that's pretty much it. So I brought on a master for this today, Mr. Mike Faraci. And I've said that wrong probably 4 times, Mike. So I apologize if I'm doing that.
Thank you for the applause. I was gonna give myself applause over here, but you got to.
Yeah. We all got our little our
right.
production value over here. You got it because you run a few podcasts. So
Yep.
it's always fun to add that piece to it. So, and just so I'm clear, because I know we kind of went back and forth. Is it Faraci? Sure. Is that correct?
Faraci.
Okay. So it's emphasis on the front side a little bit more than the
exactly.
back side. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and chat with me for a little bit. I've seen you on LinkedIn. There's a little, seems like there's this little community of people on there that, I've had Allie on, and I think I got Brian coming down the road.
Perfect.
I worked with Dan for a couple of years back in a previous life. So I know Dan pretty well too. So I love what you guys have built as far as, the support that y'all give each other, through the platform and what you guys have done there. But your specialty that you focus on primarily is video marketing. And
correct.
I actually watched I've been watching several of your videos to kind of prepare for this. And you were talking to somebody the other day about how, if you're looking for the turnkey marketing company that's going to provide all, you're like, that's not me. I'm going to tell you how to do video. I'm going to help you how to do video. And that's it. So
that's right.
Tell me a little bit about.
I don't want to be everything to everybody.
Right. You got your niche.
I think in the mortgage business, a lot of people get caught up in that.
Yeah.
If your target market is everyone, then your target market's no one. You can't make everybody happy.
That's right.
So start with what you're really good at. And I'm really good at video content for organic reach. I'm not going to be the guy who can hop in the background like a ninja and build you a phenomenal paid ad campaign,
right?
With creative to go along with it and stuff like that. But if you want to brand your startup, your company, yourself as a personal brand organically, and just get on a consistent posting schedule, be authentic and relatable, that's what I'm really good at. And that's what we focus on.
So a unique thing about being in this space is a lot of people that are, let's call it, marketing experts, however you want to phrase yourself there. They come from a marketing background. Like that's what they do. They were a marketing developer at another company in a different industry. You're unique in this and that. You've been in the real estate and mortgage industry for almost 20 years now, right?
Correct. Yeah. I'm a mortgage vet. I started back in 2005 with doing retail loans at HSBC, if you remember that brand.
Oh yes.
And then moved over from there to a place called Seabreeze Financial out here in Irvine, California. It was all subprime. And that was, I'll never forget the first day that I was sitting in the training room learning about how a pay option arm works.
Right. And you're kind of going, should I do this?
The first thought in my head was, nobody's going to do this. That's stupid. But lo and behold,
2008, lo and behold.
Yeah. And then I hopped into wholesale. I was a wholesale account executive for a few years.
Okay.
And then that company that I was doing wholesale with pulled me into secondary marketing. I guess they figured we need a product manager, and Mike reads his guidelines and can remember some stuff. So let's have him do it. Yeah. So that's when I got into secondary marketing, and that launched the next 15 years of my career. Just growing in secondary and capital markets for different mortgage banks. I worked for PRMG, Lennox Financial, American Financial Network. I'm still working with American Financial Network on a bunch of projects and stuff over there. But anything that you can imagine when it comes to capital markets and secondary marketing, that's what I did. And I always had my hand in product development and product onboarding, investor onboarding, new relationships with people that we can sell loans to, different things like that. And the product mix that I was managing at the time that I stopped doing all that was, it was huge. There was a couple hundred loan programs with 33 plus different aggregators and a dozen warehouse lines. Like it was a whole thing. And the whole time I figured nobody's going to use these products from an originator perspective. None of our originators are going to use these products unless they know about them. And, 10 to 12 years ago, I bought my first DSLR camera, got into photography as a passion. And I kind of lucked into that being right around the time where like the prosumer DSLR cameras started coming with a button that said record or video.
Or where you get to the
So
video
I
on the
ended
professional
up
stuff.
taking all my knowledge in photography and how to make a beautiful static image of something and kind of applied that to video and just started making like internal educational content so people would be willing to learn how a new product worked
Why?
and
'Cause
what
webinars don't suck?
it did. I mean, every loan officer has had corporate toss down a new product and give them a
It's the
12
worst.
to 20 page long underwriting guide and say, here, use it for what it's good for, and not elaborate on that. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so I tried to fix that
Yeah.
internally at AFN, and that
Well,
just
even
turned
they have
into
the dreaded, product webinar where you have some guy that's
yeah.
representing whatever wholesale group's coming in and providing this
Oh
particular
yeah.
program, which you may only use once a year,
Yep.
and then you sit there and it's like, it's a snooze fest. It's the most boring thing because 'cause you're sitting there going, "Okay," and you're barely listening and barely paying attention, and, you're just like, "I'll just do conventional loans and
It's a
call it a day."
great it's a great person to go have a drink with, but
Yes.
might not be the best person to give a webinar to a few hundred people,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, just trying to kind of fix that problem, internal education and things like that. And um, a man by the name of Dan Green, founder of homebuyer.com, saw some of the stuff that I was posting on LinkedIn. He said, I have this mortgage startup. We're just for first time home buyers. And a big
Mhm.
part of what I want to do is organic reach through video content by educating first time home buyers and what they actually need to do to buy their first house.
How long ago was that?
And I think you're the guy. That was beginning of 2021.
Okay, okay.
So for the next 13 months, I headed up all content and education for homebuyer.com. And I was the face of the YouTube channel. We grew from 100 subscribers to over 3,000 by the end of that
Wow,
year.
that's great.
All the written content for SEO and blog pieces and stuff like that. I managed the creation of all that. I wasn't the one actually writing it, but I managed the creation of all of that stuff. I handled all of the video. We created a 38 unit first time homebuyer curriculum so
Wow.
people could learn every step of the process. And in the beginning of 2021, we were running a few paid Facebook ads and things like that here and there. We were in the ballpark of maybe 12 leads a week.
Okay.
By the end of 2021, with all the content marketing that we were doing, we had dropped all paid ad spend completely,
Mhm.
and we're receiving between 20 to 24 leads per day.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a
Yeah,
huge jump.
so it was just kind of one of those proof in the pudding things. Like you put
Yeah.
good stuff out, and people are gonna want to reach out to you.
Yes. So is
You
that what kinda led you
give value.
is that what
And
led you into getting into your own thing now? Because, I mean,
it
starting a
is.
company on your own
Yeah.
is a big step, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in this environment we're in right now where, the leads aren't as plentiful, the deals aren't as plentiful, it's a struggle for agents and for lenders out there, to get the same type of volume because we just came from literally the hottest market that we've ever experienced in real
Yep.
estate, to, I mean, you might as well have fallen off the Grand Canyon cliff,
Exactly.
to what we moved into. Now, this may be more normal, right? But it just was a massive drop off,
Normal.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, so a
Yeah.
lot of people have really struggled with it. And now you're offering cursory or peripheral products to people to help them grow their business. So how has that transition been for you? What's that been like?
Yeah, so as a lot of seemingly great things, I mean, Red Button Media is still new.
Mhm.
I launched this in February, so
Right.
we are in our
And
infancy.
yeah.
Even though it seems to me like I've been doing this for decades,
Right.
it's
Doing the
been
same
about
thing.
it's been about 2 seconds since I went live. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's one of those things, and a lot of wonderful things are born out of necessity, and not necessarily just necessity in the market, but necessity to a human.
Yes.
So at risk of oversharing, I've never let that stop me before, so why should I now?
That's right.
Um, Left homebuyer.com, went to a different mortgage company, went back to AFN for a little more stability. I have a 10-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son.
Kids will make
Um,
stability be very, very important.
it's one of those things. And
Yep.
shortly after Our son was born. My wife resigned from her job so she could stay home and take care of him. So we didn't have to rely on anybody else because it made sense at the time. And unfortunately, I loved the startup life, but the family needed a little bit more stability. So I went back to American Financial Network, and things were great. Started building some stuff over there for them. Towards the end of 2022, everybody in the mortgage business know what happened to the mortgage business. I was a casualty of that as well. I didn't lose my job completely, but the responsibilities and my capacity was cut
Diminished.
basically in half.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sitting
Everybody
here.
goes cutting cost mode. That's what happens. We did the same thing.
Absolutely. I don't fault them for it. It is what it is. And I thank them for giving me the option. You know what I mean? They said, do you want to be laid off or do you want to be cut in half? What's better for you? And ran the numbers, and half was more than what unemployment was going to pay me, but it still wasn't enough to pay the bills. So I'm sitting there running the numbers, figuring out how to put food on table and diapers on butts.
Yep.
And I started looking for ways to deliver Uber Eats or do dog walking in the, like, I ain't too proud.
Do what you got to do. Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. And then I had a call with, again, thanks to Dan Green over at homebuyer.com, had a call with him, and he said, Mike, I appreciate your hustle and I know where your priorities are, and they're right, but you got to stop selling yourself short on what you do in video. And that was kind of the little verbal slap in the face that I needed to reassess some things and figure out how I could fill a gap in the market and simultaneously create a safety net for my family so we could be in a position to know where no one company could ever pull the rug out from. Because in that research, I found, unfortunately, that when you reach out to a traditional agency and say the word video, they might want a couple $1,000s just to talk to you, first off. Yep. Second off, all they know how to do is send a full-on camera crew out to your place and give you this big production that ends up looking like a shiny, polished, television-ready commercial.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, like, the mortgage business is in a tough place. Solo originators, mom and pop shops, small broker shops, smaller branches at their respective companies, or up-and-coming mortgage and real estate companies of their own are completely priced out of this market.
Yes.
As completely inaccessible to them.
Yep.
So I set out to launch Red Button Media as, quote, professional grade video content for budgets of all sizes. And as of a month ago, I feel like I accomplished that. We have offerings for budgets of all sizes. So if you're a company looking to build a brand and you just want your content served up on a silver platter, without having to find somebody to be in front of camera, buy all the gear, set up the studio, do all the stuff, we can do that. We have full brand advocacy services that we can offer. If you do want somebody to bring the gear to your office, if you're local in Southern California, we'll do that for you also and get you something that looks and sounds a little bit more leveled up. If you're somebody who's working with a budget of, $1,000 or less a month, and you don't have any gear, and you don't want to edit your videos because you just don't have the time to do it, then we have guided content creation where we can do recordings like this over the air. Yeah. And I'll guide you through making your short form content. And within an hour, we'll put together 8 to 12 pieces for you. And then you get to hang up and just go back to your day job. We'll take the recording, we edited everything up, make sure it's nice and vertical, captions, company branding, all the stuff that you need to have good, solid, short form content to get you on a more regular posting schedule.
Yeah.
And a few days later, we'll give that to you so you can schedule it out throughout the next month. So you get a month worth of that video content in about an hour of your time.
Right.
And then if you have no budget for that stuff, but you just want to learn how to do it yourself, I recently launched videomarketingmarvels.com, and that is my online course that has a Discord community and then weekly live coaching with me for $49 a month. And
that's very affordable.
You know what I mean? It's the most accessible thing that I could figure out to offer. It's just it's a place for me to brain dump in a way that helps the vast majority of salespeople, specifically in almost any industry, because this isn't a course that's going to teach you, again, how to monetize your YouTube channel or become an influencer. This is going to teach you how to make video to promote the industry that you're actually in. This is going to teach you how to get the video that you need without having to become a content creator, because you already have a full-time job. You don't have time for that stuff.
Yes. You're doing loans or selling homes. Yeah. I think it's hard. Or I think it's important, especially there's two schools of thought, right? If you want to get into video or you want to get into this type of marketing, either you pay someone to do it or you do it yourself. And I think there is a middle ground there, because like me personally, I started doing all this on my own journey of just like, I'm just going to figure it out, because I believe personally that the more I do it, whether it's good or bad is irrelevant. I'm trying to learn. My whole goal is I'm trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what can I do, where can I fit my time, how can I make it all sit together. Now, one of the things that I wish I may have had in the beginning was a little bit more guidance on a few things, only because you're going to make more mistakes and do things wrong before you do them right. Now, that's part of learning. That's the way it goes.
Absolutely. You got to fall off the bike a few times, right?
Yeah. You got to struggle some to do it, but you got to go through that process, I think, of, actually posting something, of actually typing out your description, of actually coming up with keywords, of actually, figuring out how to insert captions and needing to edit them sometimes, all that stuff. I feel like you have to do that, because that way you really get an appreciation for the effort and time that goes into it. So then if you get to a point where you are ready to, say, compensate or pay somebody to do some of the things that you don't want to do anymore, you know what it takes, you know what's involved with it. And so therefore you can assign value to it much better.
There you go. And that's exactly right. It's assigning value. I had this conversation with somebody just yesterday. They were talking to me about helping with their podcast. And I explained the whole process about how we could help them record their podcast, and we'd make sure that everything was posted and everything like that for them. And it was kind of a little custom thing. I know that there's no one size fits all option. So we do custom packages for people all the time. And they started asking me, okay, well, how much time are you going to spend in the edit? And how much time are you going to, and how much time is it? And how much time is that? And I said, listen, if that's who you're looking to hire, you need to be on Fiverr.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fun. There's plenty of people out there like that.
Yep.
You're not hiring my time. You're hiring my expertise.
Yes.
You're hiring the last 10 years that I spent researching and developing these processes that are going to afford you all the convenience that you're looking for. So the question isn't how much are you paying me for my time? The question is, how much are you willing to pay to get your time back?
Correct.
Yes. And once you can answer that question, because you have done it all before, just like you were saying, then you'll know how much you're willing to pay for such and such quality of whatever service that you're looking to hire.
Well, I use the example of the plumber, right? If I've changed out toilets, I've changed out faucets, I've done all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I've also had to go to Home Depot 60 times. I've had to buy a different tool for something. I cracked a tub one time because I bought the wrong tool to take the thing out. So it's kind of one of those things where, when I hire a plumber or an electrician, like you said, he might
always come away with Band-Aids.
Yes.
Yeah.
He might walk in the door and get the job done in 30 minutes. Right. And then he's like, here's a $300 charge or whatever. And I'm like, this $300 per, $600 an hour. That seems insane. No, that's not what you're paying for. You're paying for the 7.5 hours that it was going to take you to do the same job with 5 different trips to the hardware store, 2.5 hours on Google, or on YouTube, because you're trying to look up how to fix it. He's got 20 years of experience. And so he's coming in and taking care of it in 30 minutes. And now you don't have to worry about it. Just like you said, you're paying for your time that you get to keep, not for his time. When it comes
to the vast majority of things, I'm just not a fan of billing hourly. I hate it. I hate it. I like billing by project, because at the end of the day, you're paying for an end result.
Yes. Yeah.
How long it takes you to get that end result doesn't change the value of it.
Yeah.
If you're paying me for a video, you're paying for a marketing asset, right? The value of that marketing asset is the value of the marketing asset. Now, if I bill you hourly, it incentivizes me to take longer to give it to you. That doesn't make sense for anybody.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? I think there's a fundamental change that can be made in a lot of people's brains when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would help a lot of people. And it's starting. It's starting to happen.
Well, that's why I say that's important to do some of it yourself, because and I'll tell you my own personal experience.
Yeah.
When it comes to recording the video, right? It's funny because you and I actually do very similar types of videos a lot of times. You walk your
Walking and
dog,
talking, man. Yeah.
walking and talking, right? I
That's
have a
right.
folder on my thing that's walk and talk. So we kind of do the same thing. Well, when I do that, recording it, like the actual act of recording it, I don't know, 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it's really easy because I use a teleprompter and I write out my
Okay.
scripts a little bit ahead of time. So I've
Yeah.
got a little bit of it set together. So that piece of it, simple, easy, not difficult. Now that being said, it's because I've done 150 of them or whatever
Of
it is. The
course.
first 10 times it took a little longer,
Absolutely.
but now I've got it down to a bit of a science. What takes the time for me is the editing part of it, is
Yep.
coming up with, there was I'll tell you. So I had CapCut. You familiar with CapCut? I'm sure,
I am
right?
very familiar.
Software on your phone you can use. It also has a desktop, but
Yep.
the phone software is much more robust, I think, or you can do more with it. It's easier.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But then I also have I have a Mac and I have Final Cut Pro on
Final
my
Cut
Mac.
Pro and iMovie. Yep.
Yes. So when I was editing my walk and talks, I would switch the camera one side to the other. I would say something, then I would say something, then I would say something, right?
Okay.
And so I was using the caption feature to cut down my time on each one of those because the actual video might be 3 or 4 minutes, but I'm trying to get it down to 90 seconds because I want to post it as a reel or whatever.
Yes.
And so when I'm going through CapCut, and I know there's video quality and lags and all this stuff, but I got to a point with CapCut where every time I would do that, it was taking me, it would take me 45 minutes, not because I didn't know how to do it, but because the software was lagging and having issues or whatever. So then I switched over to Final Cut Pro and I can do the same thing, but I can do it in half the time. I remember not a fourth of the time. Like it's so much faster.
I got a hack for you. This might be a
Okay.
good tip for anybody who's into editing.
Yes.
Look into a program called Descript.
I think I've heard of that before, but I've never looked at it. Descript.
Okay.
Okay.
So Descript, as soon as you drag and drop a video file into Descript into a new project, it automatically transcribes it for you.
Okay.
And then it allows you to edit a video just like you're editing a Word document. So if you say such and such, I want to talk about this. That was no good. Take two. Such and such, I want to talk about this. Then you find that line that you put such and such, I want to talk about this. That was no good. Take two. Highlight it all, delete, and it's gone from the video.
Wow.
Also, there's a little magic button up in the top corner that says shorten word gaps. So when I go to edit my shorts,
I'm writing this down, by the way.
I click shorten word gaps and then specify a word gap length of a half a second.
Okay.
Descript immediately identifies all word gaps that are a half a second or longer. I click apply to all and my video is cut together.
See? This is how you learn this stuff.
Literal 3 clicks of a button. It's there's a free version that you can try. I think the plan that I'm on is like $20 or $30 a month, something like that.
Well, all of these softwares are really simple. Yeah, they're not very expensive. And if you can just
CapCut's free if you don't mind doing some of that stuff. CapCut's free. Your iMovie on your Mac is way more capable than you think it is.
Yeah.
And that's on there for free.
Yeah.
I also have Final Cut Pro. I use iMovie a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Just talking head stuff where I don't have to do anything fancy. It's just so quick and simple. I love it.
Yeah. I think I've tried different, I think part of this journey too is you're trying this software and you're trying that software. And the great thing about a lot of these now is the market is such where there are no contracts anymore. Everything is month to month. So if you pay your $25 and you try every bell and whistle on that particular software, and then you move on to the next one because you didn't like it or you try a different one, you're not spending, all of this money and tied into stuff. You're not bound to anything. So you can kind of move.
Oh man, I remember the first time I bought Premiere Pro from Adobe. Like you had to save up to buy that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. It's crazy.
And not anymore. Just a few bucks a month. Give it a shot. Try it for a month. If you're doing, and if you're not using it enough in a month, then you're not doing enough video to justify buying it. So just cancel anyway.
Yes, absolutely right. All right. So let's get into, let's talk to the people that aren't doing video. Okay. We got a little of the weeds in there on some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah. Sorry, man. It's easy to get inside baseball with this stuff. Don't get me started on gear. If you don't want to get inside baseball with this stuff, don't get me started on gear either. So
no, I love it. I love it. But I do want to, the point of some of this is I want people that aren't doing video right now, number one, to understand the importance of it, right? I want them to understand, when you haven't started, when you haven't done anything, where do you start? So I want you to tell everybody, number one is, why is video so important? Number one. And then number two is you've done none. What's the starting point? How do I start?
All right. So it's funny because I founded the company under the pretense that I will never try to talk anybody into making video.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with that. I don't want to talk anybody into making video.
Sure.
That's not what I'm going to do. If you're skeptical, go be skeptical. You're the minority.
Yeah.
87% of companies on the planet, they're making video. 96% of consumers watch a video to learn more about a product or a service before they make a purchase decision. So if you're not sold on video, fine. Go market yourself to the 4%. There's plenty left for the rest of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those are the two stats. Those are real numbers, not made up off the top of my head, even though 67% of statistics are made up on the spot. Those two were actually real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just one of those things. Also, think about AI. I know this is a direction not a lot of people take it, but think about AI. It's all the rage. And everybody's talking about ChatGPT because, it spits out all this text and you can use it to write blogs and you can use it to write posts. And you're right. You can.
It ain't
but
that
now,
great.
how do you know who the hell's writing what you're reading?
Yeah.
And how do you know it was fact checked?
Yeah.
How do you know it's coming from a human? We're in a position now to where within a year or two, we're going to have absolutely no clue who's writing our written text unless it comes from a very close trusted source. So video, until AI gets to the place to where it can deep fake all of us based on 2 selfies on our camera roll. So maybe 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah,
until then, it's the most authentic way to communicate with anyone.
Yeah.
Because it's the way to guarantee that the information's coming straight from the horse's mouth.
Well, what's the hierarchy of communication? It's something like, the bottom is I think email maybe, and then text, and then a voice.
Unless you want to toss snail mail in there.
Yeah, snail mail in there. And then the number one is face-to-face communication. And if you can't be in a room with someone face-to-face, the second best thing is what's going on right now.
That's right. And a very close third to alive would be a recorded video that you made for somebody.
Yeah.
So it's just more authentic and more relatable. And if you're looking to get exposure for your business and for what you do, the best thing that you can do is just hit the red button, make a video. Don't worry about what you're talking about so much. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's all about being yourself. If you're posting video for organic reach, if you're not putting paid ad spend behind this stuff, you're posting for organic reach, which means you're posting to LinkedIn or YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, the list goes on and on. You might be putting some video on your website as a video component to a blog or something like that. You got to be yourself because people aren't on those platforms to watch commercials.
Right. Actually, they're on the platforms to avoid commercials. They all hate them.
Think about your viewing habits on any social media platform. Reddit, you can toss in there also. Any platform. When you see a commercial, as soon as that skip ad button is available, you're pressing it.
Yep.
We all do. So don't make things that look like ads. Make things that look like you. You are a beautifully imperfect human being. You just got to own it. And guess what? Everybody is beautifully imperfect. And if you stumble over some words, if there's some hems and ha's and some uhs and some stuff, that's just going to make you more relatable. Don't shy away from that stuff because human beings love to relate to other human beings. So the key to video is just getting on there and being yourself. And if you're having trouble figuring out what to talk about, just start by talking about what you do for a living. That's fine. That's what you expert in all day, every day. It's going to be and you'll be able to branch out. You'll talk about, oh, your kids or your grandkids did this, or you tried that new restaurant down the road, or you tried a new coffee house, or oh, I just had this thought about this thing. Like, the key is to let people know who you are, let them get to know you, and then every once in a while remind them what you do for a living and why you're there.
Well, and it's especially important, I think, too, in our business, in mortgage and real estate, because it is such a personal transaction. If
Highly
I'm
emotional too.
right.
Absolutely.
So the human that's buying the house, or that's refinancing their home, or that's looking to list their home, or whatever the case may be, that human wants to deal with another human. They don't want to
Yes.
deal with some polished, talking head that they've seen on there, because it just makes you feel uncomfortable and icky. It's like, well, the you that I'm seeing isn't the real you, so I don't feel comfortable that you're going to be giving me the real story. But
Yeah.
if I see you, like, I think you and I again are similar on this. Like, I'm a t-shirt guy. Like, I don't wear
Yep.
ties and
Oh, man.
collars. Like, I hate it.
Yeah.
And so when I do my videos, that's not how I look. Now, if I'm going to go stand at a title office and, it's a different environment. So I'm not necessarily showing up in flip flops to there.
Oh, see, that's where we differ. I don't care.
Well, I'm hoping to get there one day. I'm just not there yet. But I'm also not dressed. I'm not wearing I'm wearing pants. Let's just put it that way. I got pants on.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But outside of that, you have to be who you are, because people buy. I work for a company. It's called Verity Mortgage.
Yep.
Nobody buys from Verity Mortgage. They buy from Mike Mills, right?
Absolutely.
My wife.
And that's the power of a personal brand, because if you're
right.
a loan officer and you think that your brand is connected to the corporate entity that you work for, you are so wrong.
No.
And you're going about it all the wrong way, because that corporate entity might not exist forever.
Yeah.
Or you might find a better opportunity somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So, like, wouldn't you want the brand to be you and to be something that moves with you throughout your career? Because it's very rare to find somebody who lands somewhere and just stays there forever,
right?
Anymore.
Would you
know what
say
I mean?
Would you say that going through social media yourself? Because one of the things when I talk to agents about doing this type of stuff, and even there's I won't mention the name, but there's a video blog that I watch all the time.
Yep.
Who recently did a post about how everybody's focused on social media, but no leads come from social media, and they come from, like, the organic, get in front of people, talk, the old school way of doing things. And my response to that, I didn't agree, only in the sense of, and you and I talked about this a little bit coming on beforehand,
Sure.
is if you're doing videos because you think your phone's going to ring, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. Okay. Because at least in the beginning, right? At least in the beginning, you can get to a point where you get specialized and get to a place where you can do it yourself, and maybe you can make that happen.
Yeah.
But my opinion on it has always been, and I think you agree with me on this, is that my job when I make a video is to stay in front of the people that I already know, that already trust me, that it's just a top of mind. I am in front of you as often as I can be. So when you're ready to refinance or buy or sell your house, I'm in your brain. Somewhere in their brain, I'm there, right? I'm not trying to get the person necessarily that I've never met before, that's, lives 4 hours away from me, that knows nothing about me. I'm just trying to stay in front of people as often as I can. Would you agree with that statement?
So, yeah. So here's the issue. Because you get a lot of detractors. You get a lot of people say, oh, leads don't come from social media. They come from meeting people face to face. Well, there's two things that have happened if somebody legitimately believes that. The first thing that's happened is that they didn't post consistently enough and they quit.
Yep.
Because they were lazy. Because they were looking at posting on social media as a sales effort, not a marketing effort. Those two things are very different.
Right.
Sales is for immediate results. We should be selling, but marketing, brand building is a mid to long-term play.
Yes.
So if you post a video a week for 2 months and nothing comes of it and you quit, that's not the platform's fault. That's you.
Yeah.
So sorry you're a quitter and that's what you believe, but that's just completely untrue. The second thing that could have happened is that they have absolutely no clue how to attribute leads properly.
Right.
And attribution in marketing is a huge thing. You're not just trying to attribute leads so you can give credit to the right person or the right place. You need to attribute leads so you can observe and adjust your marketing efforts properly. And if we all, as mortgage loan originators, right, if we all think of ourselves like we should be doing as little miniature companies of our own, then you can start to hone in on marketing as a business building activity. And then really think about this stuff. Take some notes, create a spreadsheet, make sure you're attributing things the right way. Because if you post on social media for a few months and a real estate agent reaches out to you and they're like, hey, I love what you're doing on social. Can you help me out with some things? And say, yeah, when's your next open house? I'll meet you there. We'll do a video together or something like that. And then you guys hit it off and you go have some coffee and you go have some dinner. And from there on out, you have the text messages, you have each other's phone numbers. You're always meeting in person. They're referring you business left and right. Well, this is a realtor that I met in person, right?
Right.
No.
Right.
If you don't make note that initial contact came from social media, then you're falsely attributing every referral that they give you to in-person old school methods when that relationship was actually developed and sparked through social media posts.
Right.
So every one of those referrals should be attributed to social media marketing efforts.
Yeah.
Like, you really got to pay attention to this type of stuff. Even if it's somebody you meet in person at say you meet somebody in person at a home buying seminar or some sort of a real estate mixer or some sort of an event or whatever it is. If somebody comes up to you and shakes your hand, reaches out, maybe it's in the second or third conversation you guys have together down the road, but they say, you know what, I had to come say hi to you that day because I saw you on social media a few months ago and I really liked what you were doing. You have to attribute those relationships to where they're actually coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The exposure that you gained through your posting online is what created that initial introduction. And you might not learn that right away, but once you do learn it, you got to let that switch be flipped in your head so you can say, oh yeah, you know what? Like, this is really doing some stuff to drive business. It might not be the beginning and end of every lead. It might not be the beginning and end of every referral source. But if it leads you to more introductions and to build more relationships with people that you then are able to cultivate in person, you got to realize that those at-bats have come because of your online exposure that you've been getting.
Well, and specifically again in mortgage and in real estate, both, because I think they're very similar in how they develop contacts and whatnot, is, just as a manner of process. So when I start a loan, obviously I've got my agent that I'm involved with. I've got the listing agent that I'm involved with. I've got the title company and I've got the buyer. Now, I don't seller. Little waiver on that a little bit, but those four people are immediately, I'm going on to Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, Instagram, whatever platform, and I'm searching for that person's name and I'm trying to connect with that person on social media right away. That's one of the
this is a big connection for a lot of mortgage people. I love where you're going with this because you just listed 5 people.
Yes.
And all of them are your what?
Potential clients or referral partners.
Customers. They're all your customers. Absolutely. You're serving all of them in a transaction.
Absolutely.
Just because a transaction has one end user doesn't mean there's not many more customers that you're serving.
People forget about title companies all the time because, it's, you got to realize, especially for mortgage people, they're marketing to realtors as well, right? They're trying to market to agents to give them their listings. Well, if you're a lender and you're marketing to agents also, you team up with companies all the time to do trainings, to do presentations, whatever it is that you can do. So those relationships are just as important as it is with the agent because it's a contact within the industry. And when somebody sits down at closing and they're signing paperwork, and hopefully you can be there as a lender. Sometimes we can't always be there, but hopefully you can. But if you're not, and the title agent and the listing agent and the buyer's agent are all like, man, your loan officer was awesome. I saw this, and what the social media piece of it is that I've connected with those people. They know who I am. So I can't remember the last time someone if I found them, they didn't accept my friend request. Like, they're always going to accept it. Right. And then now I have one more person in my audience, whether they see all my content or not. I have one additional person in my audience that I can have the potential to reach every single time I put out a video and put something there. And again, it's all because, like you said, it's a marketing mindset. It's top of mind. I got to be top of mind to those people whenever a situation arises. And if I made
Out
a
of sight,
video
out of
about,
mind, man. Out
yeah,
of sight, out of mind.
if I made that video on
That's just
property
how it is.
taxes and someone has a property tax conversation at the
Mhm.
office one day and they're like, oh, you should call so-and-so because he just said something about this the other day. You need to talk to him. And that's what it is.
Yep, it's huge, and it doesn't just stop at the people that are directly related to that purchase or drive decision making. Like, we should really be focusing on all tangential industries.
Yeah.
Try to make videos that cater to or try to network with divorce attorneys, tax preparers, home warranty professionals,
Yeah.
Not just title, escrow, real estate agents, general contractors. You know what I mean? People who handle, I mean, plumbers and electricians. There are big, expensive things that need to happen to houses
Yeah.
because of plumbing and electrical problems, and these people don't know where to get the funds, but they're sitting on equity that they haven't tapped into.
Right.
And like every one of those tangential industries is a possible referral source and a customer that you should be serving, somebody you should be actively talking to
Yeah.
on a pretty regular basis, and posting on social media. Obviously, I don't want to limit this conversation to video. I know I'm a video guy, and,
Sure.
and we're both bought into video. That doesn't mean everybody is. But even if you're just recording some audio, even if you're just typing something up, if you're posting a static image, whatever it is, have a target. Everybody has target clients. Everybody kind of knows who they want to be working with. They know who they'd like to be talking to. Every one of those target clients is a target viewer for your content also.
Yeah.
So keep your target viewer in mind, because when you know who you're talking to through a piece of content, that's just going to bring more clarity to your content. It's going to end up helping you produce a better piece of it.
What would you say to somebody who was looking at doing any type of social media, whether it be video or anything else, and their answer or their when you say, well, why haven't you done it in the past, or why aren't you doing it? They would say, well, there's so many people that do it already. I just get lost in the shuffle and nobody's going to see me. So it's just, it's just not worth my time because I can't do it as well as so-and-so. So I shouldn't even bother. What would you
you just need to stop comparing yourself to other people and start thinking smaller.
Yeah.
So especially in mortgage, if you're a mortgage loan originator, you have a target market, right? Where do you do business, Mike?
What city or what area?
What area? What's your target area that you love to do business in the most?
So I live in Mansfield, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas and Fort Worth. And I've been coaching kids, and, I have families that I've worked with over the years because my kids are getting older now, but that's been a big target. Is I love sports. I've coached, I've been running leagues. It's something that I'm very, very involved with. So even on my podcast, I've had coaches before talking, we talk youth sports and stuff all the time. So that's definitely what my passion is. And, and I try to stay in my area, and I try to stay, with families. I enjoy working with families specifically.
So would it make sense to compare the type, quality, and view and engagement numbers of your content with somebody who has been doing it for 5 years longer than you, who markets to a national audience?
No, not at all.
Exactly. So stay with, like, that's the thing. We need to stop. We need to stop comparing yourself to people that you're never going to measure up to by design.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even want to market to a national audience because you're not approved to do business nationally. You're licensed where you're at, and you want to keep it at home. There's plenty of business for you there. So why would you try to expand hugely like that with your content? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and you're trying to reach a certain customer too, because you want to work with people. I think we all want to work with people like us, right? Everybody wants to work with someone that's similar to them.
And that's the other beauty of content, is that if you're being yourself on camera, you're naturally going to attract people with commonalities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People with common threads. They like the same things as you. They talk the same as you. They relate to you for whatever reason. Oh, I have kids that age. I like that sport. I like that area. I like that type of food. I'm going to pay attention to this person. And then when it comes to transaction time, once they give you a shot to win the business, this is not about them saying, I'm doing business with you, though that's commonly going to happen.
Yeah.
It's more about getting to the plate, getting the at bat, getting to the table, and you're going to have an unfair advantage because they're already going to have a relationship with you through your content that you don't even know about yet. They're going to feel like they already know you because they kind of already do know you at some level.
Absolutely.
So you're going to have less barriers to break down. Building that brand is going to allow you to take on transactions without necessitating a sell.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. That's really all we really want to do. We don't want to go out there and sell ourselves. We want to go out there and serve our clients.
Yeah, absolutely, and provide value.
So if you can pick up some more clients to serve without having to sell them, why would you not? Why would you not do that? Why would you not lean in? But like back to your original question, like the people who are, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm not going to be able to do that. Fine.
Don't.
But do you? Because there are people out there who are going to like you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe that, there's a whole different conversation about mental health. But you're a likable person.
Yeah.
Maybe not all the time, and a lot of you, a very little bit of the time. But hey, that's okay. Sometimes you're likable. Just turn the camera on when you're feeling good.
Yes.
It's one of those things. You are going to resonate with somebody. Your job as a loan originator is not to serve everyone. I can't drive that home enough. So many mortgage professionals fail because they think their target market is everyone who needs a mortgage.
Right.
That's not what this is.
Yeah.
You need to drill it down to the specific one person that you want to serve.
Yeah.
How old are you? Do you want to be like the Uncle Mike persona who helps the young people into their first homes? Do you want to be the person that helps older, more tenured investors because you might remind them of their kid or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like really drill down to one target client, because there's always going to be more than one person who picks up on your message.
Yeah.
There's always going to be more than one person who resonates. But if you can narrow it down to the one person who you really want to set, maybe it's your ideal client, get super detailed, like super detailed. I want to work with first-time homebuyers between the age of 25 and 32 who have college degrees, who have full-time jobs that get paid W-2, that make between $60,000 and $80,000 a year, who are looking for a starter home in the $200,000 to $250,000 range in this city, in this town, on this block of streets, because then you're going to have a laser-focused message that's actually going to have a chance to resonate with some people.
Right.
But if you flip on the camera and just say, hey, I do mortgages. You need a mortgage? I'm your guy.
Right.
Nobody's calling you.
Yeah.
Because you're not serving anybody at that point. You're just kind of letting everybody know that you're one of a million.
You have a net with big holes, and all the fish are swimming through.
That's exactly right. Great analogy. I like that a lot. So don't worry about the reach. Don't worry about the view numbers. Don't worry about any of that. Just worry about getting your message out to the people who you really want to hear it. And then don't just post your stuff on social and let it die. Every video that you make is a marketing asset.
Mm-hmm.
So treat it like one. Who's in your database? Who's in your email list? Oh, I just made a video talking about how you don't need 20% down to buy a house because we just got hooked up with this down payment assistance program. I know that these 5 people are working on their credit, trying to get mortgage ready, and they've been having trouble saving some down payment. So send them a personal email.
Yeah.
It's a great excuse for email outreach. It's not a drip campaign. You're providing value. It's something that they might actually open and read instead of you just spamming them. Shoot them an email, shoot them a text. Hey, I just made this video. I put it up on social. It made me think of you. How you been?
Yeah.
Here's a link to the video. Might help you out with your down payment once your credit's in a better place or whatever it is. By the way, how's that going? Is there any way I can help?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like use that stuff in other ways. You got to treat your videos like they are marketing assets. I mean, every company has a library of 3,000 marketing flyers that nobody reads, and you're printing those out and handing them out to people so they can throw them in the trash. You may as well execute your video strategy like you would that.
Yes.
And not let them go to waste.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. The people who are looking to start, the people who are looking to be hesitant, and I'll give the example that I gave you just before we hit the red button. And started going live on here. Last year, I was doing content, leaned into short form as a passionate photographer.
Right.
I avoided turning the camera vertical like the plague for as long as I could But last year I was like, fine, I got to do this short form content stuff. So I really leaned into it, and I started doing stuff for a mortgage brand. But I didn't do it in a way that most people would have expected. I created an Instagram, I created a TikTok, Facebook pages, all that stuff. I created them all on my own, and I didn't tell anybody about them. I didn't promote them. I didn't ask people to follow. No friends, no family, no nothing. I just wanted to see if in late 2022, if you set up brand new accounts and just start posting reels and short form videos to them, what could happen? What could happen? So I set up these new accounts. The first video I posted across all 5 platforms got 104 views. 104 views. Oh man, that's terrible, right? These people get 20,000, 30,000 views on every post. 104 views. I came away from that day feeling as victorious as ever. Because if I had to go out and spread that message to 104 different people I had never met, what would that have taken me? What would I have had to do to make that happen? And how long would it have taken me? Would I have had to do it to put a sign together and go to the freeway off ramp and holler at people? Would I have had to go to the local Starbucks and just try to spout my message and talk as fast as I could as people walked out with their lattes? Like, I don't know what I would have had to done.
Yeah.
To get that message to 104 people on a day where I just woke up and said, I want to say this to people. But through video, it gives you the audience to do that. And that was 104 brand new people that had never seen my face, never heard my messaging, had no idea what I did, no idea who I was, from a brand new account that was created that day. 104 people watched it. So I just try to picture myself in a room on a stage talking to 104 people. Maybe you have super uncreative. The lunch and learn gets a good turnout. But like, what's a good turnout for you? If you had 104 people packed in a room for a lunch and learn so you can hop on stage and say what you're saying, you're probably going to be pretty happy about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And video lets you do that without buying 104 people lunch. So don't get caught up in the views. Don't get caught up in those type of metrics. They are vanity metrics. Every successful creator will tell you that. For the most part, views are vanity metrics for organic. Obviously, if you're running paid ads, then you got click-through rates, and you have CAC, and you have all this other stuff that you're tracking. It's a lot easier to track. But when it's organic, a lot of the times all you can go off of is the likes, the comments, the views, and the number of those that you're getting. Just picture that many people in front of you while you're on a stage. Than you otherwise would think.
Yeah. You said something a little earlier about, which I love this message, and I want you to elaborate on, is get into details on the consistency factor, because I think that that gets lost in translation a lot of times on how important it is, not just for your message, but also for the success of your videos, for the algorithms. I mean, there's so many things that come into play when you are consistent about making content. What can you speak a little bit to the importance of that?
So consistency is the only foolproof hack that you can employ to actually gain more audience. Right. And the reason why, and we're gonna get into some talk about posting daily here, because that is a powerful thing. But I just want to lead off by saying, anybody who's thinking about posting daily, who has just started, or maybe they're starting at like 1 post a week, don't get overwhelmed. Don't think you have to jump straight into posting daily. There are these things called baby steps.
Yeah, do what you can
do. There is a natural progression. It doesn't mean you have to start at 0 and start posting daily. It's okay to work up to this stuff. So
it's like, if you've never worked out in a year and then you go to the gym 5 days in a row, you're gonna have a hard time.
You're gonna have a hard time getting up the next day. So daily posting is the ultimate hack, and it's because you're giving the platforms what they want. Right. So if you want to grow your audience, then that means, if you want to grow your audience with no ad spend, right, then you need to give the platforms what they want, because unless you cooperate with them, they're not going to show you to new people.
Right.
And giving the platforms what they want is giving them something that they can monetize. Because Facebook doesn't charge you to be a member. neither does Instagram, neither does LinkedIn or YouTube or TikTok. You can sign up, be a member for free. You can make content, post on there for free. Well, where do they get their money? They get their money from ads.
Mhm.
Companies that advertise on the platforms, so your eyeballs will see it, and also the eyeballs of your viewers.
Yeah, we're the product to the social media platforms.
That's right.
Our
That's
attention.
100% right. Yes. So
It's very much like the Matrix.
if you're not the customer, you're the product. Yeah.
Yes.
So when it comes to the social media and all the algorithms they're in, I mean they're ultra advanced, and they're always looking at things and stuff that they can monetize, because that's, at the end of the day, that's their job, to squeeze the most money out of the companies they have advertising with them as possible. So they're looking for content that they can put advertisements on. But how are they going to put advertisements on your content when they don't know you're going to show up?
Yeah.
So the metric is 28 days. 28 days in a row. If you can put something out on social 28 days in a row, then those algorithms, especially when it comes to like Facebook and Instagram, they're going to recognize, okay, this person's showing up on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
We can start slapping some ads on their stuff. They might not start doing that right away, but they are going to start showing you to more people to see what kind of content you're posting, to see if new people will start to look at you and follow you and engage with your content. And if that starts happening, they might start putting some ads on your stuff, maybe some like YouTube pre-roll or Facebook pre-roll, advertisements in the sidebar, different things like that.
Right.
Those are good things. If you can get videos and content that the platform puts an ad on, that's a good thing, because they're going to try to show that to more people.
Right.
The good thing about Facebook right now is that they're pushing Reels as heavily as ever. Trying to catch up to places like TikTok, a little bit of Instagram Reels, maybe some internal competition there in Meta. But Facebook Reels are getting as much exposure right now as a paid advertisement that you would actually pay for.
Wow.
So if you're not posting Reels on Facebook, you need to, because that's underpriced attention at the moment. But the consistency piece with all the social media platforms, for that matter, is really important. And then if you miss a day or two, you're going to start from scratch.
Yeah.
You'll take a couple of days off, and then you got to start that 28 days all over again until they can trust that you're going to show up consistently all the time. And if you do, they can advertise on your stuff. They can start showing you to a larger audience. And it's all about the money, honey.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. You got to give the platforms what they want. What the platforms want is consistent content that they can monetize. So if you're giving them that, then your message is going to get out to more people. Also, when you're posting to places like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and not necessarily YouTube, but Facebook, when you're posting those Reels, all those editing tools that they give you, try to use one or two of them.
Yeah, I've heard that using the captions that they provide on the platform is better than inserting your own captions if you can.
That can help. It can help. I don't.
Okay.
I've tested that with my own content. Haven't seen a huge pickup either way.
Okay.
And for me, it's easier to edit the captions in because I post to 5 different platforms every day.
Right.
So it
takes less time.
Captions in every editing tool.
Yeah.
But I do make sure to use at least one editing tool every time I'm uploading to a platform. So I'll pick the background music separately in Instagram and in TikTok.
Gotcha.
And in Facebook. It's different background music. I mean, there's different permissions and rights, copyright stuff when it comes to that. So it's safer to do that anyway.
Yeah.
I'll type the copy in each of them, because you're kind of just showing the platform that you're not a robot.
Yeah.
I'm a human who's making intelligent decisions. And if you want to play around with filters, like if one of the, oh, hey, there's a new filter, because you'll see that sometimes when you're posting. Oh, we added this new filter. That's the platform screaming out, we want you to use this.
Yeah.
Because we want to see how content that uses this filter does.
Yeah.
We want to see, they're testing it. So if you help them test it, they'll probably show your posts to more people. It's like, if you pay attention, the platforms are telling you what they want. If you give it to them and you cooperate, then they're going to reward you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are almost at an hour, man. We blew right through it.
It's not long enough. We can go for 2 or 3. Yeah.
I do want you to, just kind of and give just a little summary of, your obviously what you guys do, but then also
Yep.
to, speak to again, just if the importance of the video content, the importance of putting stuff out there, the importance of making sure that, if you're starting
Yeah.
down your video road, don't get too wrapped up in, like you've obviously said multiple times, the views and the likes, and it's just, what's the old saying, right? How do you eat a whale? Right? One bite at a time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
everything's a little step. Everything moves you in the right direction, but you have to constantly be headed that way, or otherwise the success that you're looking for isn't going to take shape. And
Yeah.
just because you try something for a short amount of time doesn't mean it's going to work.
So I don't want to plug me anymore. I went over a little summary of our offerings in the
Sure.
beginning. If you picked up on that, great. If you didn't pick up on that, head over to hittheredbutton.com. All the info's there.
Perfect.
If you're looking for, if you want to take a look at the course with the members only community and the weekly live coaching and stuff like that, head over to videomarketingmarvels.com
Okay.
and sign up. We'd love to see you over there. But to give everybody some value to kind of leave you with here, the importance of video, it's hard to overstate, because as a human who wants to do business with other humans, you need to get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And video is a way that you can do that with little lift, and then it works for you 24/7. You don't actually have to be present to be in front of people.
Yeah.
It's one of the most valuable things going. And
Well, what do they say? Time is the most democratic thing in the world. We all get 24 hours, and it's how you use that time and reach
Yes.
as many people as you can that makes the difference.
That's exactly right. And you're not just reaching people to try to sell them. You want to reach people to try to connect with them, try to help them.
Yeah.
Give free value. Like talk about the foundational information that you learned in your first couple weeks of the industry. Do you know 50% of the country still thinks you need 20% down to buy a house?
Yes, I know.
Like the level of mis and disinformation out there about mortgage is astounding.
It is.
A post I recently put out on LinkedIn said, what do you wish that you learned in high school that would have prepared you better? That's the question you need to ask yourself the next time you're having trouble thinking up a content idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
it.
that's great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. When just answer that question and then make a piece of, oh man, I wish I would have learned that. Well, you know what? There's a bunch of younger people out there who still can, and you can be the one that teaches it to them.
Yeah.
Providing that level of value can be the difference between getting a referral or not, getting a deal or not. I recently saw a conversation online where somebody wanted to be a contrarian to this point. Everybody loves a contrarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they ran a broker shop of their own, and they said, in my opinion, loan officers need to be worrying about their social media outreach less and less, and doing everything that they can to fund 2 more loans next month, because funding 2 more loans or less loans in any given quarter right now could be the difference in having a job or not having a job in our industry. I was like, okay, fair point.
Yeah.
But posting content to social and increasing your reach ain't a full-time job. Like
No.
It's just not. And the more you do it, the quicker you get.
Yes. Much more efficient.
So while we do need to be focused on how to fund 2 more loans next month, which is a sales activity for immediate growth and immediate business generation, you also need to have a marketing and brand building strategy in play, because that might help you fund 2 more loans in August of 2025.
Right.
It might help you fund 6 more loans in August of 2025.
Yep.
Posting video and increasing your organic reach is for mid to long-term success. Yep. Expect to do this for 6 to 8 months and get nothing from it. Expect that.
Yep.
That's probably what's going to happen. What do they say? It only takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Right.
No, so expect to get nothing out of it in the meantime. And it's because it's not sales.
Yeah.
That's a big differentiator for a lot of people to make. You're marketing, you're not selling. This is not for 2 months from now. This is for 2 years from now. If you keep your eyes on that, then it'll be a lot easier to stick with the plan.
I think that's awesome, man. I think the consistency and the long-term views or long-term goals, that's what we're all aiming for. And it's hard to do sometimes when you're, maybe struggling to meet the numbers you hit before, but you got to keep your eyes forward, because if you don't, then, the business won't be there in the future and you'll be doing the same thing over and over again.
That's right.
Well, Mike, I really appreciate your time, man. This was awesome.
Thank you, Mike. Anytime. Happy to come on again. If you're ever in need of a guest, the mics got to stick together.
That's right.
Yeah.
The walking, talking mics. That's what we got to, maybe we'll, you're in California, so maybe we'll make one. We'll duet one or something at some point.
I like it.
All right, brother. Well, have a great afternoon. Hope you enjoy the weather out there. It's 100,000 degrees here. So
it's inching up to that over here, but
yeah,
I think we're going to be okay. Yeah,
for sure. Well, take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, everybody. Take care, Mike.
All right, man.